Okay, next we have Hide Saegusa here from Japan, and he's also with Indian Institute of Technology, Mandi campus in the Himalayas.
Hello, my name is Hide Saegusa. I'm a co-director for Laboratory for Science of Consciousness in this university, and I'm a professor in Indian Institute of Technology and University of Arizona Center for Consciousness Studies. I'm a board member and research scientist. Today, I'm going to talk about non-locality of consciousness for 15 minutes. And last 5 minutes, I'm going to display my skill of transmission of awakening and let everybody in this hall experience the non-locality of consciousness. I studied 15 years in India, doing all kinds of spiritual practices, and on the 10th year, I reached immense awakening. And right now, I developed the special skill so that I could make everybody, in hundreds of people at once, to be able to make them experience what I'm experiencing. In India, it has been called Shaktipat and Diksha and has been practiced for at least 1,200 years. And I'm going to talk about my main research, 11 levels of happiness. And he's a founder of this university, Dr. Hiroshi Motoyama. I have written the article in magazine about him, and he was a Japanese who studied in India and got awakened and became spiritual teacher and tried to scientifically investigate what he has attained, what he has found. Non-locality is Pandora's box to neuroscientists. Current neuroscience has to change if non-locality is true. And I can transmit my awakening in 5 kinds of ways. One is through eye gazing. Second is meditation, which I'm going to display on the last 5 minutes. And 3 is through touching. And 4 is through voice. And 5 is through intention. And this is a sacred text written in India 1,200 years ago. So this kind of spiritual transmission has been practiced in India for at least last 1,200 years. And I do a lot of workshops all around the world, workshop of transmission of awakening. This was the last time I did my workshop in Japan. Participant was 180 people. And this was last month in Barcelona. I did a workshop to 250 people. And after the workshop, 20 people came up to me and said exactly the same thing. Their comment was, it was intense experience. And last year in Tokyo University, we did a 10 experiment of my transmission of awakening. First, they checked my brain waves and found out my brain waves were completely different from the ordinary human beings. It was delta and gamma frequency. And when I do the transmission, it becomes only gamma. And this was the first experiment of my transmission. And I was able to synchronize my brain waves to the person in front of me. So the experiment was a big success, so we were celebrating. And I did it to Dr. Stuart Hameroff. He came to Tokyo University 2 times last year. And he had a deep experience. And I was dramatically able to synchronize and change his brain waves. And I also went to Stanford University and did the experiment of Photon experiment with Dr. Rajneesh Khanna. Because Dr. Stuart Hameroff says, when I transmit from my eye, he feels that photons is emitted from my eye. So this is when I was transmitting. It was 730. And this was when I was not transmitting, 362. So we are trying to figure out the mechanism of quantum entanglement between human consciousness and the brain through the emitting the photons and receiving inside the retina. The latest scientific studies says there's a place inside the retina where we have communicate quantum communications. And I went to our colleague Anil Van's laboratory in Tokyo, in Tsukuba, 1 hour away from Tokyo. And this is an artificial brain that he made and sold to Microsoft for $10 million. And this is a DDG. It is a high-frequency DDG machine that he's going to demonstrate on the last day. Brain number 1 is an artificial brain. And brain number 2 is my brain wave. I'm an expert in synchronizing my brain waves to the people around me. So it got completely synchronized. And Dr. Anirban was able to find out the scientific evidence how we communicate through the electromagnetic fields, through the oscillation of kilohertz, megahertz, and gigahertz to the microtubules in the brain. And not only he was able to detect, but he was able to manufacture the artificial brain that's going to synchronize to the brain waves of the human beings. And I went to his laboratory many times, and this time also my brain waves and artificial brain were synchronized. So this is how we measured. This is the artificial brain, and I'm not touching or so. And I want to talk one other main research: mental health problems. How to completely overcome the mental problems. Completely overcoming means putting the pain and inner suffering, transforming into inner bliss and joy. In EU, total cost of mental health problem is estimated 600 billion euros in 2018. In USA, total cost of mental health problem is estimated $326 billion in 2018. And then it got doubled, almost doubled, after the COVID. 1 out of 4 people in USA are taking antidepressant. 1 out of 7 people in Japan now are taking antidepressant. And mental health problem is the most urgent issue that we have to solve. We have everything in developed countries except mental happiness. So I came up with this research. This is a map of awakened consciousness. I don't have much time to go into detail about these 4 awakened states, but I'd like to explain about my original research, about 11 levels of happiness. I collaborate study with many hospitals in Japan. Number one, the length of breathing is 2 to 5 seconds. Those kind of people cannot even meditate. And the mental hospital that I collaborate, they checked all the patients who come to the clinic. Everybody's breathing was less than 5 seconds. And also I collaborate with a pain clinic. All the patients who come to clinic for the chronic pain problems, their breathing was less than 5 seconds. So if we could prolong the people's breathing more than 5 seconds, they don't have to go to the clinic. And level 11 is the final end of a spiritual practice. I defined the end of spiritual practice, ultimate happiness, in 2 words: total unconditional love and complete relaxation. When I went to India, I spent 15 years. When I went to India, I was number 1. I was really suffocated and having a lot of emotional problems and so much problem in life. My breathing was 2 seconds. And it took me 1 year to be able to meditate. First 1 year, I couldn't even meditate. And second year, I could start to meditate. My breathing became 5 to 10 seconds. And number 3, the breathing gonna be 10 to 15 seconds. You're gonna feel firm in meditation, and it is related to the predominant brainwave is gonna be a beta. Number 4, 15 to 20 seconds. Bliss happens during meditations. Alpha brainwave. Number 5, 20, 25 seconds. Overwhelmed by bliss during meditation. And beyond number 6 is the dimension of awakening. I spent many years with the Indian saints who are beyond number 6, and they were having all of them were having a extraordinary ability that normal human being didn't have. So I was observing their breathing. Their breathing was always more deep, more than 30 seconds of breath. Inhale and exhale, I count as 1, natural breathing during meditation. And I attained 10 through 30 years of spiritual practice. And what I recommend to move from the level 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, number 1 is laughing yoga. 2 is breathing exercise, intense breathing exercise, which involves hyperventilation. And 3 is emotional release. And so number 11, all the tension in the spines and necks gonna disappears completely. And that is my hypothesis, that neck gonna be so flexible that blood circulates fully, so that brain gonna start to function in a fullest capacity. And I just want to talk about from October, I'm gonna be in Indian Institute of Technology Monday, and I'm gonna start giving a weekly lecture on spirituality and science of consciousness and neuroscience and psychology. These kind of lectures I'm going to give, and I'm going to do a demonstration of my transmission of awakening. Can we sit straight and can we meditate together for 5 minutes? I'm going to be walking around the hall. So please close your eyes. We're going to start transmission through meditation. slowly open your eyes. So that's gonna be it for my presentation. Thank you very much.